9 trainers left, 4 in the ice gym with the potential finale against Price. But before that, 7 evil battles in the Rocket Hideout, where everyone has a full team with 6 monsters, from which 5 are ahead of us. These trainers are insane. You have to play your best just to stay alive. This looks like the hardest part any Gen 2 ROM hack that I've ever played with. This is Crystal Kaizo plus Christmas Patch, Hardcore Nuzlocke Attempt 1, a short but extremely hard Gen 2 ROM hack patch that goes beyond Crystal Kaizo plus in terms of level. That is for sure. We have 5 fights left out of the 7 in the Rocket Hideout, which fights are insane. We have 18 Pokémons out of the 21, which is great, but we have to dig deeper and go beyond the edge of our Nuzlocke level just to not wipe in the next fight. This fight is going to be extremely hard. The opponent has a Snorlax with Body Slam, Shadow Ball, Recover, Curse, has a Tauros with Earthquake, Rock Slide, HypBeam, and Blizzard. These two are super tough as I don't have a fighting type Pokemon. Outside of these two, it has a Rhydon with Bright Powder, Earthquake, Submission, Rock Slide, Mega Horn. It has an Executor with Sleep Powder, Giga Drain, Explosion, and Psychic. It has a Starmie with Waterfall, Thunderbolt, Psychic, and Ice Beam. Also has a Chansey with Focus Band, Soft Boiled, and Toxic. The thing is, I've calculated like everything, and I was at the edge to just say that I can't beat this riskless or can't beat this in a strategy that looks at least promising. But at the very end of this struggling 1 or 2 hours, I found something which may work. So we start with Tangela against Starmie. Tangela with Miracle Seed is the only option to beat Starmie in 1v1, which means that we need poison ourselves because it will use Ice Beam, which has 10% chance to freeze the opponent. That baits Chansey, who has Toxic, which won't be used as we are already poisoned. Has Heal Bell, which is dismissed if none of the opponent's Pokemon is status, which is true. Has Soft Boiled, which won't use as the HP is full. And it has Counter, which we'll use in the first turn, but only has 1 PP. So we can switch in the counter turn. And with Kangaskhan, we can hit it with 2 cross chops. It will use Toxic, we have Alamberry, and we hope that Focus Band won't activate. That baits Rhydon, who has a Bright Powder, so that's risky. We can switch into Vaporeon. With Submission and the chip damage of Spikes, which happens before the first turn in the Rocket Hideout, we might have just like 140 or 139-ish HP, which means that we are faster and we can one-hit KO with Waterfall, and if Bright Powder activates, maybe only a crit Earthquake or just the highest roll of Earthquake can kill us, which is great. But we want that to finish it within 1 turn, as the next one would be Executor, who normally use Giga Drain here, so it's an easy switch to Magmar, who can use Flamethrower. That would bait Tauros, who would use a random move between Earthquake, Rock Slide, and HypBeam, which is where we can switch into Meganium and hope that it won't be HypBeam crit. If not, then Meganium would only bait HypBeam from Tauros, and this is where we can switch into Rhydon. Because with Earthquake, we can hit it once, as HypBeam is a 2-turn move. And as it will use Blizzard, if Vaporeon has enough HP, we can switch into Vaporeon, which would bait HypBeam again, so we can switch back. And with Goldberry, I think we have a good chance to finish it with Earthquake, even with 1 HypBeam crit. We will see, because it will get 2 chip damages from Spikes. And the last one would be Snorlax, and I'm not sure how we will handle this. There is one scenario when we just hit with Rhydon, and if Rhydon dies, just dies. Or if we can bait Shadow Ball, we can switch into Cross Chop. What I'm afraid of is Curse, as it can be really tricky if it can set up 2 curses. So this is extremely hard, and I'm not sure that how can we survive this, but this is the best, but I could figure it out. So let's see. Now let's start this. We will start with Tangela against Starmie. The Miracle Seed boosted Petal Dance will one-hit KO Starmie, but as it has Ice Beam, we had to pre-poison ourselves. Here comes the spikes. The next one is Chansey. We won't use Toxic as we are poisoned, won't use Heal Balance of Void in the first turn, so it has to use Counter, which only has 1 PP. So we can switch into Kangaskhan. Okay, we can finish it with 2 Cross Chops. 1. No, it will use Toxic. We have a Lumberry, and now we hope that the Focus Band won't activate, as Kangaskhan might need against Snorlax. Okay, great. Okay, now here comes Rhydon, who will use Submission, so we can switch into Vaporeon. It's important to dodge the crit. Okay. Nice. It was a one-hit KO. Okay, that was important. Because next one is Executor and we can easily switch into Magmar, which is an easy flamethrower. Okay. Now here comes one of the hardest part, Tauros. It will use a random move, so we switch into Meganium and hope it won't be a HypBeam crit. That really matters. Okay, that's great. Now Meganium baits HypBeam, so we can switch into Rhydon. Even with the chip damage, thanks HypBeam. Okay, and it's not a crit. That's great. And we use 1 Earthquake. And the submission wasn't a crit. We can switch into Vaporeon, who tanks the Blizzard. Okay. And we can switch back into Rhydon. Okay, that's great. And we can finish it with the Earthquake, and Snorlax is the last one. And now I don't really know what to do. Maybe a crit would have been better, as in that case Snorlax would use Shadow Ball, I guess. So we could have switched into Kangaskhan, which is a better matchup, but I think now we might just need to hit. I'm afraid of Curse. But if it uses the Curse in the switching turn, that's the worst. Yeah, here comes Curse. Okay, we need to hit. Now it's a crit dodge, but we need to hit. It's a crit dodge, but we need to hit. Okay. I think that's great. I think we can finish it. Can we? Okay, it should be enough. Come on. Okay. Wow. What a fight. The next fight is interesting. It can be the easiest one or can be the trickiest one. The opponent has some Pokemon that doesn't have an attacking move. That's true for Ariados, that's true to Wobbuffet, and even Umbreon. 2 of them has Bait and Pass, which combined with Spider Web or Mean Loop can be deadly. And the other thing is that if you just can't beat an opponent within like 2-3 turns after the switching, it will start to use random moves, which includes random switching. So there are scenarios when you just get into the worst scenario that you can imagine. I have a line, but it's not consistent because of this. Umbreon with Minlook and Baton Pass are the very problematic one, and an in-game switch on Wobbuffet. I just can't beat it very fast, which is pretty hard as it has counter, has Destiny Bond, so it can stall the turns until it starts to use random moves or random switches. So we will see. I have some scenarios, but I hope that it will be just easy. Okay, let's start the fight. The first one is Ariados, who has Bright Powder, but other than that, we are faster with Kabutops and it should be a one-hit KO with Rock Slide. So I hope that it will be an easy start. Here comes the spikes. Okay, great. Nice start. Next one is Wobbuffet, who's interesting and I don't really know what will happen there. But the thing is, we switch into Misdreavus, who has a nice matchup against like almost everyone. Okay, one Destiny Bond. It has 5 PP. So we try to stall it. Two. Three. Four. And 5. Okay, so it will use like Anchor or Mirror Coat, but I think it will be Mirror Coat. So I think we can throw another ball instead of hitting. Okay, now it will use like Anchor or Counter, but I think we can start with the Psychic just in case it uses. I mean, but okay, yeah, that was a bad play, but I hope it won't matter. I can just keep using Psychic until Anchor ends. Yeah, that was a misplay. Okay, here's the counter. Okay. And it's probably another one. Okay, started struggling. Okay, it wasn't really that... Oh. Okay. So it wasn't really that hard, even with that small mistake. Okay, so Magneton is going to use Thunderbolt or Confuse Ray, but we have Dactria who is faster and has a Lamberry and can easily one-hit KO it with Earthquake. Okay. And I hope that the next one will be Gengar, as we are faster too. And it's still a one-hit KO, but it has to be Gengar, I think. Okay, that's great. That's great that it is game over. As we can easily switch into Meganium, who has a nice matchup against both Umbreon and both Dactrio. Oh, okay. Dactrio has a focus band, but with Giga Drain, we are in a pretty good situation. It will be a one-hit KO, or like a two-hit KO. The focus band activates. We have a Lamberry. Okay. And let's see. So HP will be like full, no matter what happens. Okay, great. Okay, great. Or almost full. And we can use Poison Powder and that it has synthesis, it might be a little bit longer. Or Moonlight. To speed up the things. Just spam Petal Dance, but I think it's pretty over. At least a fight that is easy. We needed that because the last 3 is gonna be extremely tough. Oh man. Okay. Confusion. Nice. Another one. Okay, cool. Cool.